Hey everybody, this is Janet Gardner.
And Justin James.
Check out May the
The
Rock be with you.
Welcome to May the Rock be with you in Australia.
Thank you for having us.
I know, and we're very excited to see you very, very soon, actually.
Yes, we can't wait to get on that plane.
Yeah, I know, and it is next weekend, right? Yeah, it's next weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you are heading back for Glam Fest. That's why you're coming back over. Now, give us an idea of what people can expect from one of your shows when they see it live.
Well, some new stuff, some old stuff, everything in between. A lot of energy, a lot of fun.
A lot of smiles and just having a great time and hoping it's contagious to the audience.
That's what it should be, right? It's just good fun rock and roll. That's what it should be.
Absolutely,
well,
an escape.
I mean, yeah, the whole glam, the whole genre that we love and that we come from, that's what it's about. Leave the bad stuff at home, leave your bad attitudes, and just have fun for a couple of hours.
Perfect. Now, you have had a few solo albums since the Vixen days. When you look at putting a set together for something like Glam Fest, you just said we're getting a good mix. So we're going to hear some new, some old. We're going to hear a bit of everything.
Exactly. There's a couple of Vixen songs that obviously we can't play a show and not play them. Yeah. So those will be there. All right. And yeah, we're going to take, some of our favorite songs off of each album that we've done. And hopefully people will dig them.
We've kind of got a system now. We've put out 4 albums together now, and then there's a couple of Vixen albums. So we kind of try to take at least 2 songs from each album to play.
Great. No, I love that. That's a great way to do it. Now, it's also a very good lineup. So is there anyone you're excited to see on this bill?
Oh my gosh. Everybody. It's crazy. I mean, we've, Slaughter's always great. Taiketo is just phenomenal. And obviously you can't George Lynch. He's just the guitar god. So yeah, so many great bands on this. And then bands like Heat and the Cruel Intentions. For us in America, we never get to see those bands. So now we finally get to see them ourselves too. So
yeah, we've never seen either of those.
No.
So, we've seen Slaughter and Taiketo and even Lynch Mob because we've played with them a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So it's always great to see them. And, it's a sense of community. So not only it's nice to see them on stage, but also off stage. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the people I've been talking to, they're all like, we're going to be out in the crowd watching these bands. So come and hang out. We're going to be up the back. So come and say hi.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, music-wise, you talked about releasing new music. There's been 4 albums since Vixen. So your most recent last year, which I love, by the way. How for you does the creative process change or differ now compared to when you were making records in the past?
Well, everybody's different. And, obviously we're a duo. And so it's a committee of 2. So it makes it a lot easier to move quickly. You don't have to, it's not when you're in a band, that's 4 or even 5 people, sometimes depending. But you have to get everyone's kind of on the same page for a particular song. You have to have everyone's positive input. And if somebody doesn't like one and this person doesn't like the other song, and it's a much different process than just all we have to do is both of us have to like it and we're good to go.
And another cool thing too, in the past you'd have to rent studio time and go into a studio and record. We have our own studio in our house. So at any given moment, it could be 2 a.m. and one of us can get an idea and it's like pop in the studio and start recording something. And then the next morning if you still like it and, she listens to it and likes it, or I listen to it and it's like, boom, we're off and running and we got another song going. So yeah, it's much smoother now than it used to be.
That's kind of good news, bad news, because we're not paying studio time. There's times when I'm like, stop.
There's nobody over here.
It sounds great. It sounded great 5 mixes ago. So there's kind of that element too, where it's like eventually you got to wrap it up. You got to go, this baby is ready to be born. Let's do it. And that's hard to do when you have limitless time in the studio. You're not paying for anything. So it's like, oh, okay, well, let's try 2 more mixes before we go to bed. And it's like,
and your ears are so fatigued by that time that you'll go, that sounds better. Than the next day you listen and you go, oh, it does.
Yeah, what were you thinking? That's terrible.
I love this.
yeah, it's good news, bad news, but overall, I think it's with technology and everything too, it's become super easy to like cut and paste and edit, and you have like these limitless things that you can do, and it's great.
Oh, I mean, look back at when you were making the first two Vixen records, even digital wasn't a thing back then. You know what I mean? Like it's all analog, and now it's like you can do things on your phone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you
It
can do
is.
things on GarageBand that sound pretty damn good.
Yeah. Like I'm
It's
talking
great.
to you over in the States and I'm in Australia and we're doing it live. It's great.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Incredible.
It's perfect. Now, from the new album, I always like to ask about one song that I really dig. And for me, on the last record, it was 85, because I'm a nostalgia guy, right? So I love songs like that that get to me. Tell us about the process of putting that, what, autobiographical song together, was it? Or is it just a throwback song?
Totally
Yeah.
autobiographical.
Thought so.
And obviously, that came from me because in 1985, well, Justin was very little.
Okay, let's back up here for a second.
I'm calling myself old, so
Lyrically, it was autobiographical about her. Musically, was me trying to be creative and do something a little different, and then you laid down those beautiful lyrics over it.
right. He came up with the vibe,
Mm.
and to me, it sounded really cool 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
immediately kind of went, wow, that's like, in a different way, kind of like a Don Henley or something a little more interesting, I thought. So it was kind of natural to talk about the 80s.
Mm. I love the 80s. And let's talk about it again, because I was a huge fan back in the day. Can I ask from a favorite memory or a best story you've got from the era when you were on the up and up?
Oh, there's so many, and it was a while ago, so a lot of them are kind of fuzzy. No, just, I mean, and that song actually talks about a lot of, before we had a record deal or anything, we had nothing.
Mm.
I mean, we literally had cardboard boxes for coffee tables. You put like a tablecloth over it and pretend it's like a real table.
Yeah.
And the duct tape couch. That's really how we lived. All we needed was guitars and a place to play, a couple of crappy clubs. That's all we needed. And we didn't care about anything else.
Nice. And then it happened, and then you're on the strip and you're hanging out and doing all the fun things.
Yeah, exactly. Boom.
Good old days.
It
Now,
sounds easy,
again,
but
sorry, go ahead. What was that?
it sounds easy, but it wasn't. But
No,
it
I
was,
couldn't imagine.
there were times when it's like, gosh, how are we gonna scrape together a couple pennies to eat?
Wow.
But we did it somehow.
Yeah, and here we are today. Now, it can be very easy to say what can change over time, though. What's the one thing that's always remained the same about what you do?
I'm gonna say live show, the interaction between the audience and the performer. That never changes.
Mm.
There's a connection. It's something so special that it's hard to really even put into words, but that has never changed.
Yeah, right.
It's a moment. It's a special moment in time that it's not the same if you watch it on YouTube. It's not the same, if you're not there at that moment, you don't get the real deal.
Yep.
So that's one thing that has never and probably will never change.
That's great. And I love the dynamic you two have. I can see this would be on stage as well. It would make it work so well. I think it's going to be amazing.
Thank you. We have a blast. We're so lucky, and for a while we avoided doing this together because we were afraid, what if we don't click together, or like she doesn't like my idea or I don't like her idea, and what if it all of a sudden it causes a riff or a problem? And we tried it one day and it was just magic, and
Nice.
it just, every week we were writing a new song, and I think that's why we're able to do it so quickly. It's just, we really do love it and love doing it together. And
well, it's trust and respect.
yeah.
I mean, you have to trust the person you're being creative with so you can let your guard down. If you don't do that, you're not going to come up with anything real, nothing from your soul.
Yeah.
And it's rare and it's hard to find. I've been looking my whole life. Finally, Better late than never.
She is talking about you this time, not the other guy on the other side.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Over there somewhere.
So with the 4,000 songs you've written in your spare time you're having at home in the studio, can we expect a new album sooner rather than later?
I hope so. After No Strings, the last album, we had really put a lot of time into that one, trying to perfect it the best we could. That by the time it was finished, I think we had exhausted ourselves and said, we're done, we're taking a break now, and we'll go out and we'll play songs from these 4 albums and the Vixen songs. But it's funny, after like a week or two ago, we're going, we miss it already. It's just not the same. And you get in a routine and, going in the studio, mixing it or recording or writing something new, that it's who you are. And, so I hope soon, we've got a gazillion ideas already. So now we just got to lay them down and record them. And
well, we did slam out 4 albums pretty quickly. So we definitely needed a recharge.
We
of
did.
the batteries after this last one.
And it was cool too, because we're big fans of 70s bands, and back in the 70s, bands were releasing sometimes 2 albums a year.
Yeah.
And then as you progress and production got bigger and bigger, it got longer and longer before you'd get a new album from a band. So to me, it was always kind of cool that we were kind of at least sticking like every year we were putting something out. So, but we finally hit that point where it was like, oh yeah, we need to recharge and regroup
and live a little, pull from your experiences. If you're not out there living, you really got nothing to say.
It's stale.
So now it's time to just, kind of live and enjoy ourselves and see what happens.
Yeah, perfect. And a trip to Australia. It's
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah, we're ready for an Australian adventure.
Yeah, last time we came to Australia, we just fell in love. And I always say to Janet that if there's any other place in the world outside of America, it's going to be Australia that we move to, because it is just so beautiful. The food is great. The people are great. The weather's great. It's awesome.
It's funny. I was in America when you were in Australia last time. I missed you guys when you were here. So I'm looking forward to this time.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Which show are you coming to?
Sydney.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's going to be a blast.
I'll be there.
We had Sydney last time.
We had a great time.
Yeah, that was a fun show. So
yeah. We'll catch up. I'm sure I'll see you at the shows. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Now, this will be interesting because I don't know where your musical tastes lie, both of you, because I like asking the question called I Wish I Wrote It. So is there one song in the world that you wish you wrote? What would it be and why? Each of you.
Well, you know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say? You go first then.
Soft Dogs.
Oh, okay. D.A.D.
D.A.D. Soft Dogs. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Yep. You have to see the video too. I love dogs, but I know the song doesn't really have anything to do with dogs. I just love the song. It just makes me feel great. And I can't really nail down why. It's a combination of the guitar playing, the voice, the lyrics. It just slays me. Every time we get in the car, I'm like, Soft Dogs, put on Soft Dogs. I want to hear Soft Dogs. The kind of mood I'm in, it makes it all better. It makes everything better. I wish I wrote that song. I love it.
Justin?
For me, it would have to be Still the Night by Whitesnake. I'm a huge John Sykes fan, and that guitar playing is so monstrous and huge, and Coverdale's voice is incredible. And that breakdown section in that song where it gets really mellow and the guitar starts going, and it almost sounds like a violin playing, and then just rips it back apart again. Yeah, hands down, it would be Still the Night.
Okay, excellent. Great. 2 great answers. When I do this, I always go and listen to the songs again afterwards, and it's always great to get people's input. It's so good. Now, what is on your list of things to do you haven't yet had the chance to do that you'd still love to do?
You mean just anything in life at
no,
all?
musically. So musically, like as an artist.
I want to record an acoustic album. I know it's a total departure from what we normally do, but I would love to do like a nice rootsy, just big open acoustic album, even if it's new songs or remakes of some of our other songs, and throw them out there. That excites me a little bit.
I want to make a blues album where we limit ourselves to about 3 or 4 chords per song.
Oh,
the rules. That's the rules.
Yeah, we're gonna make a rule, only 3 or 4. Well, because it's a challenge. We need a challenge. So that's my challenge.
You could do that. You got the voice. You got that voice that could do blues.
Thank you. Well,
for sure.
I love really bluesy stuff. Some of my favorite stuff is like, you know, the Black Crows, even, you know, and if you go back further, Bad Company was one of my, like, so I like that bluesy rock.
Yeah,
That was
right.
kind of my favorite stuff.
And when we're not out playing, she's walking around the house singing like Howl and Wolf, you know, and it's amazing how much she can. No, but I agree. I think Janet's voice, I mean, on the early Vix album, she sounds fantastic. But I think as time's gone by, she's developed that kind of a grit to her voice. It's so bluesy and like a Janis Joplin kind of rasp that I personally think is cooler. I love that sound, and it has so much more feel to it.
Yep. If you are there early on Sunday in Sydney, one of the bands opening called the Black Cardinals, they're very sort of bluesy, southerny rock kind of thing. You should check them out for sure. You'll love them.
Oh, that sounds great.
Now,
Absolutely.
Are they on both shows?
I think they're just in Sydney, I think. But I know they definitely are because they're changing up a little bit for both.
Look for 'em. I mean, there's so we want to watch everybody, but we also have to get ready to play.
Yeah,
so we
that
can
too.
kind of pick a couple on one day and then a couple on the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's right up our alley. I mean, like she said, like the Black Crows, anything kind of in that style. We love that stuff.
Check them out. It's going to be fun. Now, lastly, what I do with everybody, I get them to look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2024, I'm going to say both of you here, Janet and Justin, will
have a new album recorded and ready to be released.
Your face.
What?
We have to. We have to.
By the end of this year?
It's only February. That gives us plenty of time.
Okay.
That's 10 months.
Okay.
We can do
I'll
it.
go with it. We've done it before.
We have done it before.
Well, during the pandemic, we had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So the album Synergy that we recorded during that time, boom, boom.
Oh.
That only took a few months.
Yeah. That was
But
cool.
now the pandemic's not going on, so it's not going to be easy, but I'll take that challenge.
All right, well,
I'm always pressuring her, Janet, come on, you got to go down and sing. And then she'll be like, well, then you got to do something for me. So I'm always outside cutting the grass, cleaning the gutters.
We'll talk next year. We'll check in early next year and I'll be like, oh, they did it. Oh my God, they did it.
Pull it off. But is it going to be acoustic? Or is it going to be like a 3-chord blues thing?
Combination.
Ooh.
No, that's not loud. It's not loud.
Okay.
No.
There's no rules in music.
Janet and Justin, what an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. I can't wait to see you next week in Sydney. It's going to be a blast.
Oh, likewise.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Come and say good day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come and, find us.
I'll find you. All right. I'll see you then. Have a safe travel over.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.